continue our Chapter 11 discussion, we're going to talk about social bookmarking sites, the next group of social media platforms. Social bookmarking sites are a way for people to store, organize, search, and manage web pages. Consider the olden days when people used to pin notes and articles and other important tidbits to their fridge or their corkboard or their planner or a wall in their kitchen. How do they keep track of everything, right? So today, social bookmarking allows users to pin information online. Most services allow users to organize their bookmarks using descriptors that are relevant to them. So it's a safe place to put information until you can come back and enjoy it. People can search social bookmarking sites by using keywords to find new content similar to keywords that they might be pinning their information with. They can bookmark the content so that they can access it and read it at a later time. And they can bookmark both textual content and photo content. Pinterest is one of the largest social bookmarking sites with over 250 million unique visitors on the site each month. Now, Pinterest is also categorized as a social networking site in your textbook, but in this course, we're going to talk about it in terms of a social bookmarking site. Pinterest was launched in 2010, and today the user base is almost 80% female. So of those 250 million unique visitors, 80% are female. For those of you not familiar with Pinterest, members on Pinterest can create boards where they can pin photos and information that they find interesting. Generally, those pins will lead back to a blog or a website containing information they want to read or items that they want to purchase. Over 1 billion boards have been created to date, and there are over 50 billion pins circulating the social platform. And this is an example on your screen of what an individual member's boards might look like. So you can see that they are categorized by keywords that the member has decided to identify. And then there are individual pins on each of those boards that all fit that same kind of topic or content. So how do marketers use Pinterest? Pinterest has become a significant influencer in purchase decisions over the last 5 years. Pinterest users are very loyal and engaged. In fact, Pinterest users spend an average of 14 minutes on the site per session. And that's a really long time when you consider the few minutes you spend on Facebook or Instagram per session. According to a 2015 study, 87% of users purchased a product that they have pinned, and 55% of Pinterest users have directly engaged with retailers and brands via the Pinterest network. And you compare that to Facebook, more people are interacting with retailers and brands on Pinterest than they are on Facebook. So the opportunity cost of a consumer brand not being on Pinterest is incredibly high, considering that almost 90% of users will purchase a product that they pin. Another reason why marketers like to use Pinterest is because it doesn't require an active presence. Unlike social platforms that require a significant investment in time, companies can be on Pinterest without even having an account. And how is that the case? Well, Pinterest is dominated by user sharing. And this really holds true for any social bookmarking site. As long as you're producing good content on your other platforms, such as your blog or your website, and you have pinnable images or text, your customers will do the work for you. So it's not so much brands pushing their message, but it's users sharing information about you with their followers and friends. It makes it very easy for your website. You need to make it very easy for your website visitors to pin content so that they can advocate on your behalf. Another reason why marketers love Pinterest is that pins have the potential to go viral fast. Once a person pins your pin, it is seen by all of their followers and has a higher probability of continuing to show up in a recommended pin section based on keyword searches on the site. So, because of these three main reasons, marketers love being on Pinterest. Companies love being on Pinterest. So, what do they post? What types of content work best for Pinterest? One thing to keep in mind is that consumers go to Pinterest as a source of information and inspiration. So, inspiration is the big driver to this platform for consumers. And so, companies keep that in mind when they're creating their content. And so, one thing to do is to create helpful how to videos or articles that address commonly asked questions about your product or inspire DIY projects or walk customers through step by step how to do something. So this is a Pinterest board page for PPG. They are a paint company, PPG Pittsburgh Paints, and you can see that their boards walk customers through DIY projects. They show them how to paint a room. Very helpful how-to videos and articles for the consumer. Companies also use Pinterest to show images of their products in use in various uses. Fashion companies will show how different pieces of apparel match up to make different outfits, or how accessories can be paired with products or with other apparel items. Cleaning supply companies show their products in use. Book companies show how you can read different books in different settings. There's lots of ways to show how your product can be used and give the consumer an idea of all of those product capabilities. One big tactic is to continue to repin other users who feature your product in their pins, even if it's not a main component of the pin. By repinning and republishing other people's content, they're also more likely to see your content and republish that. And finally, a big piece of advice is to pin pins that have nothing to do with your business, or maybe nothing directly to do with your business. So an example here, Southwest Airlines has a Pinterest page, and on their Pinterest board, they have an entire board called Destinations, where they just pin really wonderful places that they think that their customers might be interested in traveling to. Now, I'm sure that Southwest does fly to the destinations that they post, but it gives customers another reason to follow them on Pinterest than just their own products. But they can see different parts of the country that they may have never traveled to or may want to travel to. So pinning pins that have nothing directly to do with your business or product can be very beneficial on this platform. So now that we know what content to post, how often should we post it? Active companies are posting 5 or more times per day on Pinterest. And these are generally companies who specialize in food, fashion, or fitness. This chart here on the screen shows the Pinterest categories that consumers are looking for. And you can see that they most search food and drink, DIY, home decor, women's fashion, weddings, etc. So companies who are involved in those types of categories should be posting 5 times per day. Now, when you get down to categories like men's fashion, cars and motorcycles, technology, history, maybe you don't need to be posting that much. But the best advice is to post as many pins as you have content for. So if you are a fashion company or an apparel company, you probably should be posting more than 5 times a day. As many as you have content for. And when should you post those pins on Pinterest? Digitas conducted a study of nearly 10 million pins a few years back, 2013, and they were looking to try to determine the best time to post your pins on Pinterest. And what they found was that it really does vary by topic and or industry. But generally speaking, evenings and weekends are the best for Pinterest posts. Users are most active between 8 p.m. and 1 a.m., and activity tends to peak on the platform at 9 p.m. So this is when companies should be posting. Now, Pinterest released their own study that showed insights on the types of pins that are searched the most for each day of the week. And so I've posted those findings here. And so if you're in the fitness industry, the best time to post is Monday evening. Or on the weekend. And if you're in the travel industry, you should be posting on Saturday. And Pinterest says that they've been able to identify that this is the highest search category on this day of the week. And so they recommend that companies follow that. Now, just like every other platform that we've talked about, this varies with your own individual company. And the best thing you can do is look at the analytics and see when people are clicking on your pins and try to identify when the best time to post them is. So a few last thoughts on social bookmarking. We only talked about Pinterest, but you should know that there are many social bookmarking platforms out there on social media. And social bookmarking is a great way to keep people talking about your company or your product. Unlike social networking platforms, social bookmarking posts have a life of 3.5 months. That's a really long time. If you remember the life of a tweet being 24 minutes, the life of a pin or a social bookmark is about 3.5 months. So that's saying that people continue to see your post well after it's first pinned. And that really is due to the fact that on social bookmarking sites, people might pin something or bookmark it to come back later, but it might be a few months later. So you still stay relevant long after that pin has been pinned. Like other social media platforms, social bookmarking sites have begun to build in analytics page to help brands optimize their own posts. So that's a benefit to using social bookmarking. And social bookmarking continues to grow. It's a fast-growing platform in social media, especially in terms of photo bookmarking. Options for brands are continuing to expand on social bookmarking sites. And even in the last 2 years alone, there's been an introduction of rich pinning, which is allowing companies to do more with their pins. Just in the last 6 months or so, selling pins have been created, and brands can now sell directly from social bookmarking sites. And we'll talk a little bit about that when we get to our social selling module here at the end of the course. But they're starting to incorporate new trends into social bookmarking. So it's really beneficial for companies to create social bookmarking pages and post content on those platforms. And that brings us to the end of chapter 10. There's one last lecture that I'd like you to watch that just lasts a few minutes that kind of wraps up our Module 4 content and has a few reminders in it.